Good afternoon everybody, my name is Shankarji. Now we will be studying chapter 10, Motion and Measurement of Distances. Like the word itself mentions, what do you mean motion? Motion is something which is moving, that's why it's called motion. And what do you mean by measurement of distances? Everything has to cover a distance. So how long or how far a body or an object travel, you have to measure with something to cover, maybe in meters. It can be in meters, it can be in centimeters, it can be in kilometers, it can be in miles. That's why we have to study motion and measurement of distances. It's very absolutely crucial from a science point of view, and in general we also need measurements in various aspects of our lives. The first topic regarding this is the story of transport. If you talk about the story of transport, early man, how he used to travel by foot. Right, even now we are traveling by foot, but only for short distances. However, thousands of years ago, there was no means of transport. I mean, early man entirely depended on traveling by foot, even for thousands of kilometers for long distances. But they used to travel in groups, they used to help each other, and they used to take breaks. The oldest form of transport is, even now which we are using, is by walking, is by foot. However, man later on developed by domesticating certain animals like cows, buffaloes, and then he started using bullock carts, or sometimes it can also be horse carts or even camel carts. Man have learned to domesticate animals, and he has started using animals, and he has learned to fix carts with wheels, and he has used them for some time. So this comes to a point that I would like to mention that the greatest invention of man is a wheel. Because earlier when man used animals, he fixed a cart and he tried to slide them. However, sliding was not very convenient because it has a lot of friction. I mean, it's not easy to pull anything. I mean, if you pull or push, it's very difficult to pull or push anything. But if you roll it, if you roll a wheel, it's much more easier. That's why rolling is much more easier than pulling or pushing. So that's why the wheel is considered as the greatest invention of man. The greatest discovery of man is fire, and the greatest invention of all time by man is wheel. So using the wheel, man has learned to really master the art of traveling and covering large distances in small quantities of time. So this brings us to a point that we need standard units of measurements for various quantities. So we have 7 basic quantities in science, in physics, or in generally in science. So the 7 basic quantities are length, mass, time, temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity, angle. Length we all know, like how long the table is, how long the bridge is, how long the bus is. So the length is a basic quantity, and this SI unit, the International System Unit of Length, is meter. If you want, you can convert it into kilometers or centimeters or millimeters as per the requirement. Now the second basic quantity is mass, like how much matter a substance has. It can be me, it can be you, it can be an object. Like say a car. What is the mass of this car? The car which you drive, maybe it's 2000 kilograms. So the SI unit of mass is kilograms. So length is a basic quantity, mass is a basic quantity, and it's also known as fundamental quantity. So basic quantities are also known as fundamental quantities. Next we come to time. The next basic or fundamental quantity is time. We all know what time is. We cannot live without time. That we have to keep on measuring time always. So the SI unit of time is second. 1 second. Like if you just do like this, 1 second. However, 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. 24 hours is equal to 1 day. 30 days is equal to 1 month. 365 days is 1 year. 10 years is equal to 1 decade. 100 years is equal to 1 century. 1000 years is 1 millennium. It goes on. So time is also a basic quantity. Next comes temperature. Like what is the heat in the particular environment in which you are living or studying. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. It can also be Celsius, Fahrenheit. Then comes amount of substance. When we are studying invisible particles like atoms and molecules, so we need a unit for studying the invisible world. So the amount of substance is a physical quantity which is used for studying. So like atoms and molecules. So the SI unit of amount of substance is mole, 1 mole, MOLE, which you will study in your higher classes. Then we come to luminous intensity. So how strong the light is. So before the invention of electric light, we used to depend entirely on candle light. So the luminous intensity is still compared with the amount of candles in brightness. So that's why the SI unit, the international system of luminous intensity, is candela. The symbol is small c, small d, cd. And then we come to angle. See, not all objects are on a straight line. Maybe you have an angle like this, you have an angle like that. Angle. You need a physical quantity to measure the difference. So that is why that physical quantity is known as angle. The international system unit of angle is radian. R-A-D-I-A-N. Radian. You can also measure them in degrees. So degrees and radians can be interconverted into each other. So let me recap. Length, mass, time, temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity, angle. These are the 7 basic quantities. The standard international unit for length is meter, mass, kilogram, time, second, temperature, Kelvin, amount of substance, mole, luminous intensity, candle, angle, radian. So these are the 7 basic physical quantities which is absolutely essential for calculations and for studying science in a most effective way, especially physics. Now, we come to types of motion. Motion can be of many types. It can be uniform motion, it can be non-uniform motion, it can be a circular motion, it can be periodic motion, many other types are available. So what do you mean by uniform motion? Uniform motion means a body is traveling at a particular speed in a particular direction for a particular time. So for example, a car traveling at 60 km per hour on a straight line for maybe 1 or 2 hours without any change in the speed. That is an example of a uniform motion. Second, non-uniform motion. Like say we all know the city bus or the town bus which we all use. The town bus starts, after some time it stops. Then it picks up a few passengers go down, then it increases the speed. Then it decreases the speed. So the speed is varying a lot. So that's why this is an example of a non-uniform motion. A bus traveling through city, or it can be a car, it can be a truck, anything, or it can be a bike, motorbike. Circular motion. When the body is traveling in a circle around another body, using that as a center, that is known as circular motion. For example, the earth revolving around the sun is a circular motion because the earth is revolving around the sun regularly in a circular motion. So that's why it's known as circular motion. Then we have periodic motion. What do you mean by periodic motion? For example, pendulum clock. We all know that we have a pendulum clock. Like say for example, you have a pendulum. We all have seen that the pendulum clock vibrates like this. So you have the string of the pendulum, you have the ball of the pendulum, and it is just there in mean position. When you turn it on, when you put on the battery, it goes like this, it goes like this, it comes to. So this is the mean position. It stays over here. It goes like this, it comes like this, like this. So this is known as the periodic motion. This is a pendulum clock is an example of a periodic motion. However, suppose if I am standing over here, I am just moving over here, and I am coming over here, coming back like this. If I am repeating this pattern regularly, that's a periodic motion. So there is a mean position and there is one extreme position. Maybe it's one extreme on the left, one on the right. So periodic motion can be simply defined as a regular repetitive motion is known as periodic motion. Let me recap this chapter: motion and measurements of distances. So the story of transport is, earlier man used to just walk on foot. Then he invented the wheel, and with the wheel he invented bullock carts, horse carriages, camel carriages, and various other things. And then he invented mechanical modes of transport like bicycle, car, trains, trucks and lorries, even nowadays even space age rockets, aeroplanes, jumbo jets, even ships, submarines. So we have the most advanced form of transport nowadays in the 21st century. Next, we have the 7 standard units of measurements, the 7 basic physical quantities: length, mass, time, temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity, angle. Then we discussed types of motion: uniform motion, non-uniform motion, circular motion, periodic motion, and there are also other kinds of motions possible which you will be studying in your higher classes. So if you have any doubts or suggestions, please let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Have a great day.